How can I improve my pronunciation? How do I assess my English progress? Is grammar really important? If you have asked these 3 questions before, then this video is for you. My name is Marwa. Thank you for choosing me as your teacher. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe so that you can get more of my videos. Let me start by answering the first question. How do I improve my pronunciation? First of all, do you know why your pronunciation is not so good? As children, we learn our language and a set of rules that apply to our language subconsciously, like stress, intonation. This is where you should start. You should start by learning the basic sounds of the English language. But before you go ahead and learn the sounds, there is one more choice to be made. Do you want to learn to speak English the way the British do or Americans? I personally speak American English, and my advice to you as a learner is also to learn American English. So how are you going to improve your pronunciation? The first thing is, when you're watching a show, of course, an American English show, not Australian, not British English, because that's not your target. It's good to practice listening and understanding these accents, but that's not how you want to sound. You need to start shadowing. What does that mean? You're going to listen to the sounds and try to repeat this exactly in the same way. So for example, the letter S in English, in American English, it's an S. So for example, the country is Spain. However, a Spanish speaker would probably say España, because that's how it sounds in their native language. Another way is to learn how the sounds are produced. So for example, the sound is very difficult for many people. What I do, how do I teach my students to improve this, is by teaching them how the sound is produced. So the first thing is you need to touch the back of your upper teeth with the tip of the tongue. Then you need to release air like a little snake. Let's practice. Thorough, thousand. It's the same. Now that you understand how the letter is pronounced, it's easier for you to improve your pronunciation. Another way for you to improve your pronunciation is to see, whenever you're watching a movie, make sure that you have subtitles. Because there are some words that are written, like the way they are spelled and the way they sound are completely different. So for example, there is this word, it is spelled S-C-H-E-M-E. And I think this is probably shimi or shema. And that's how I would say it. And then when I'm watching a movie, I hear the word scheme. And I probably think it's spelled with an S, K, maybe I. And you can never relate these 2 words because you know the written form separately and you know the spoken form separately. So actually you could never connect these 2 words even though it's the same word. This is just one example. Now think about this if you applied this to almost all the words that you know. So at the same time, you are going to connect the way they are spelled with their sound. My advice would be, especially if you are a B1 student, then do not straight away watch a new movie or a new TV series in English with English subtitles. No, that would be too frustrating. My advice would be to choose a show that you are familiar with, that you love, watch it that you have already watched. And then, since you know the scenes, since you know the topics, it would be so much easier for you to understand, and maybe even you kind of know what they're going to say, and then listen to it in English and see the way it's written. You can stop every now and then if you need some translations, and this will help you improve your pronunciation a lot. Your next question is, how do I know if my English has improved? This is a very good question. And I'm going to start with a funny example. Let's say you are trying to lose weight, or the other way around, you're putting on weight. If you ask people who live with you and see you every day, they cannot tell. But let's say you meet a friend who hasn't seen you in like a month or two. They will probably be able to tell the difference between your state now and what it was like a month or two ago. It's the same with your English. If you are learning every day and if you're improving every day, then you can compare yourself only to what it was the day before. And that could be very frustrating because you don't know really if you're improving or not. So here I have 2 tips. The first one would be, go ahead and take a test. Let's say it's a listening practice. If you want to assess your listening or your reading or whatever it is, go ahead, or your overall English knowledge, go ahead and take a test today and log your performance. So how many questions were you able to answer? How easy or difficult was it for you on a scale from 1 to 10? How many words you didn't know? And so on and so forth. And write this down. Then save the link. And then start studying and learning English here and there and improving and so on. After 1 or 2 months, go ahead and take the exact same test. You will see if you have improved or not. Check your notes, right? Check if you found it before very difficult or so difficult and so on. How many words you didn't know, how many questions you got right. And don't worry, you will not do better because you did it before. Trust me, I do this with my students all the time. 98% of them don't even remember that they took the test a month before. So this is one way that will guarantee that you can assess yourself. Now, when it comes to your speaking and assessing your improvement, you can do the following. First of all, find a question online and then record yourself answering this question, all right? Record yourself, speak for 1 or 2 minutes, give yourself some time, talk about it, and so on. Again, keep that recording. After 1 month, before you listen to it, answer the same question. Then compare both recordings, and you're going to see if you have improved or not. Now, I'm going to answer your third question. Is grammar important? This is a bit of a tricky question. Grammar, especially basic grammar, is very important. So let's say, if you say to me, I will meet you yesterday, I will be very confused because will indicates the future. So here I need to have a simple past there. Or for example, let's say you're applying for a job and then you're going to send a motivation letter and there are plenty of mistakes, like instead of saying he has, there's always he have. or, we can see that the grammar is not really good, then most likely this will have a negative impact on your image. So people will take you a little bit more seriously professionally if your grammar is good. However, I have a lot of students who worry more than necessary about grammar. So let's say if you make a mistake, like if you say, I came with car instead of by car, yes, it's not correct, but most people will let it slide. It's not a big deal, especially things as random as prepositions. So my advice would be study well your grammar, especially A1 to B2 grammar. Leave out complicated things like present perfect continuous. Like, not even native speakers use that all the time, so we don't really need it. Focus on the things that are very useful. Ask your teacher, should I know this or should I not? Is this important? Do native speakers use it all the time? Yes? All right, then I will focus on it. And then don't waste your energy perfecting things that are difficult and random and have no rules, like prepositions. I'm not saying you can say stuff like in the weekend or in 5 p.m. because these are prepositions that are very commonly used. So you need to say on or at the weekend, at 5 p.m. Things that are very common and used very often, please focus on that, improve your grammar, study it. If it's not so common, don't waste a lot of energy on it. This would be my advice. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm not sure if you have seen my last video, English on the Road. I'm taking you with me from Munich to Rome, and I'm packing and teaching you a lot of words. So go ahead, check it here. And if you would like to practice grammar a little bit more, then check the description. You will find 3 videos that I find very useful.